Hey there everybody, thanks for joining me for another one-man review. Today I'll be continuing on my journey of reading the complete Dragon Ball Z. I know I should be reading Dragon Ball first, but this is what we have in the house thanks to Jack. And like I've said in previous videos, when I ask Jack or my students, which is better, they say Dragon Ball Z. Even though I know for me as an adult, like I'm going to enjoy Dragon Ball better. I'll get to that, I promise. But we're going with Dragon Ball Z because this is what I have in the house. We ended with volume 8 last week where everyone's on planet Namek. They're searching to get the Dragon Balls. There's a character named Frieza there who's leading a group of 5 people called the Ginyu Force. They're all battling for the Dragon Balls. Vegeta has teamed up with Goku and crew to fight the Ginyu Force, and Frieza obviously is going to try and betray them later. And the previous volume left off with this character here has basically mind swapped with Goku, so takes over Goku's body. And then in here they're able to switch them back. He tries again to occupy Vegeta's body, and someone throws a frog in the way, and so his mind actually occupies this frog, and the frog's occupying his body. And you get this really hilarious image here where the body's getting taken over by the frog, and then this nice like mirroring of this position here of the frog. So that was one of the things that I picked up on in volume 8, is that it seemed like the action scenes were funnier. There was more like humorous animated cartooning going on in a lot of the action poses, which I think made them feel more dynamic. Whereas in like volume 3 and 4, I felt like Toriyama was a pretty stiff action artist, but a really great, humor artist. And mixing those two things is very powerful. And I think this is another good example of it. It's not just guys blasting each other and shouting and leveling up. Like there's something that pauses you for a second and makes you laugh. So I hope that's not just part of this storyline, but a strategy he uses going forward. All of the Namekian Dragon Balls have been brought together at this point in the story, and we're summoning the Great Dragon. The Great Dragon here on Namek, it seems to be much more powerful than the one on Earth. These are the Dragon Balls of the Great Elder, so everyone's going to get their 3 wishes. The first wish that is used is to bring Piccolo back to life. Piccolo dying in the earlier volumes. This obviously upsets the idea that death actually matters, because there's been a number of times now where people have died and then brought back using the Dragon Balls. For me, that lowers the stakes in a story in a way where I can't be as emotionally invested. It's not like The Walking Dead, where once Glenn dies, Glenn is dead, If anyone can come back anytime, it just makes the story a little bit emotionally purposeless for me, but keeps the action up and keeps the fun going. So I get it, for kids, you want to keep bringing back the popular characters. So Piccolo's back. We also learned that Frieza, the guy that's leading the group, the Ginyu Force, is the person who destroyed the Saiyan planet. So an extremely powerful character, a good bit of like world building, history, lore building there, that he's the one who destroyed it, and gives another reason for someone like Vegeta to stay teamed up with people that would normally be his enemy. So good, interesting like plot point there. You see that this Frieza character can level up quite a bit. He kind of looked like a little kid before, but now has gone to full power. I like these designs a lot better than the ones in the earlier volumes in terms of costume design. I still think Toriyama is kind of blocky and chunky with his big buff guys, but I think it's looking a lot better, the more fluid and more interesting costumes. So that's cool, again, giving me hope that this will just keep getting more interesting to me as I go, not less. We get to see here Gohan go totally crazy. He really cuts loose, and you see that when Gohan gets angry, he gets quite powerful. I think this is, like I said in the first volume or two, this seems to be one of the reasons to me why kids would like this so much, because you do have a kid who's very empowered in there, and so they feel powerful in agency. It's not like they have to wait to get old. But there's a little bit of like, he's just born special, he's not having to earn it, that I think is maybe not the best lesson for kids. Because I'm always looking at like, what are kids taking away from these things that are super popular in popular media. And then basically this whole volume is just this gigantic fight. We wrap up the fight against the Ginyu Force, and there's this big fight between everyone who's coming back. And Frieza, the Great Elder dies, the Dragon Balls go away, we only get 2 wishes. There's a lot of stuff that goes on, but we end the volume with now Piccolo having showed back up and helping contribute to the battle. So this battle with Frieza is obviously going to carry over into volume 10, and I look forward to reading that. I also look forward to seeing what the next storyline after this is, and how the tenor of things change, or what the cycles are now that I'm coming to like the end of a second story cycle. It seems like, how does this play forward into a third cycle? So join me next week for volume 10.
Back to the land, let's get